3.
You're listening to the Converted Podcast, the podcast about the Guild Convert to Raid on Airy Peak, US.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 175 of the Converted Podcast, the World of Warcraft podcast, all about the Convert to Raid Guild on Airy Peak, US. Sal, what do we have to look forward to this evening?
In this episode it's still hot in here. Your converted shoutouts, CTR raid progression, and we have podcaster and guildie Multizord.
That's right, everybody. I am Barfolomew the Paladin. Joining with us tonight, Multizord from Hearthcasual. Multi, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. How about you, man?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for asking. Also with us tonight, Ms. Salmisis the Shaman. Sal, what's up?
Well, hello, everyone. Today is a very special day because today is the day that we got the incredible and totally unexpected announcement that Mixer is dead.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it a bummer?
For the creators who were using it, absolutely.
Yeah, because like a lot of the partners, unless you were like Ninja or Shroud, you basically had no clue what's happening. Like I know one partner, Generic Live, they just got Mixture partnership 2 weeks ago. They were so excited for it. Then they find out today from a text tweet that they were being Mixture was like, sorry, you're out of luck. Definitely check them out on Twitch because they are a married couple and they are like playing and streaming together. They are so cute. They're amazing. Like their energy, like they're like that dog.
I feel for these folks, and I get it. And they, put their, it's like, listen. Twitch has its thing. Twitch does its thing. Twitch was huge, and then Microsoft said, "Hey, I think we can do what Twitch is doing." And then they tried to do exactly what Twitch is doing and in the same format. And they brought over the biggest Twitch people they could and paid them a lot of money. But they didn't have the Microsoft didn't have the community. They didn't have the people. They didn't, and at the end of the day, like folks are gambling when they try to make their living off of YouTube and Twitch, or if they're an influencer on Instagram. And I do feel for folks who are, who worked hard to get a Mixer audience. That had to be so much harder than to getting a Twitch audience, because Twitch has its own inherent audience.
Yeah.
But Mixer absolutely did not have an inherent audience. And so anyone who did build that up had to work even harder. But at the end of the day, you are, betting your livelihood on something that you absolutely cannot control, have no control over it. And Mixer was never as cool as Twitch, and I do like folks being, like it's capitalism,
Yeah.
It's good to have other things out there, but if you're going after Twitch, you got to be as good as Twitch, and Mixer just never was.
Yeah, they were trying to with like Ninja and Shroud, and the plus side to them pulling Ninja and Shroud is Twitch was working extra time this past year to increase features. My other worry is now that Mixer's gone, Twitch is gonna be like, okay, we don't really have to do much good work. And I'm like, Twitch, you're not done yet. You've got more stuff you've got to improve. There's things that it's not enough. Well, and going past the stuff, you've got to improve your moderation stuff. There's a whole bunch of things Twitch you need to improve.
Yeah, for sure. Sal, you brought up an actually I don't know if you meant to do this, but you brought up sort of on the side a really interesting point. You said that the Mixer streamers were working like their tails off to generate an audience. If we could see the Mixer audience as being maybe a little bit more loyal, I don't know if that's accurate, but like we know that in Twitch audiences can sometimes come and go. If you had to work that hard to build this following on Mixer, does that maybe increase the likelihood that that following might go with you to your next platform?
I think so. And like I saw one today that actually they already had like 45 people on their first stream, and like I already getting mods. I think they're gonna be affiliate by the end of the week.
I don't think I've ever had 45 people in my audience, aside from on this show I have, because the guild is amazing. But like on my personal show, I don't think I ever did that.
Okay, for our audience, just we're talking as if everyone knows about it. Mixer has decided to bring all its users to Facebook, and I'm not saying that Facebook streaming can't happen, and I think inevitably later down the line Facebook streaming can be big. I totally believe it can be. It's one of the biggest companies in the world, but Mixer put tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, so much money into like kicking off Mixer as a competitor to Twitch, and it didn't really pan out for them. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat room. The chat room is actually pretty active right now about this topic, because this just came out today. This information was just a few hours ago. Yeah. So we just learned that like folks like Ninja, who had this giant contract.
Yeah, big deal.
Ninja. Yeah, it was a big deal. Yeah, Ninja did not say, "Cool, I'll sign on and go to Facebook streaming." Ninja had them buy out his contract, and he's going back to Twitch.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to one of my concerns here. I think you have a really good point there about the fact that Mixer streamers had to work extra hard to build up their base because they don't have that inherent base, like you're saying. Similarly, there's not that inherent base in Facebook yet. I mean, I'm with you in thinking that it could potentially go somewhere, but for folks who truly are switching from Mixer to Facebook now and want to actually make that transition, it's like they're almost having to. I mean, they wouldn't be starting from square one. I mean, obviously everyone's got followers that will join you and check you out wherever you are, but
equally Facebook is a platform that people use already.
Yeah,
so. That too. Yeah.
Well, and people don't like the stigma that Facebook has, because like I don't like going to Facebook because I know when I go there I'm going to get posts that I don't like seeing.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas at least with Twitch, you're seeing a streamer. I mean, it's almost siloed away from all that stuff, and combining it together, it scares me.
Oh, guys, I just want you to recognize that the chat room has blown up on this conversation. Of course, our beating heart Turarts is here, who is a streamer, and there's so much to say about this. Yes, the big people who were brought over from Twitch to Mixer, Ninja and Shroud and several others, they absolutely can come back to Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they probably still have folks like following their channels, but anyone who is just like on Mixer and like really invested in Mixer, like if you're talking about Ninja and Shroud, like we're not even talking about Warcraft anymore. Okay, we're talking about like Fortnite, things like that. They literally have followers on Twitch already, and folks who started on Mixer just don't. And so maybe they can switch to Facebook. Yeah, Frasley, to your point, I get it. I feel for them. But right now, if Microsoft can't come up with something competitive to Twitch, then who can?
And
Google.
No, I don't want YouTube gaming. No. Now, I do have one fear.
Apple, who's a cooler company? I think the independent company could do it. But go ahead, Frasley.
One other fear I have, because we also saw this today, Twitch is getting rid of CurseForge, the Twitch add-ons.
Oh yeah.
So my question, I know Amazon owns Twitch. I am just hoping that Twitch is not circling the bowl. I mean, I know Amazon has a lot of money, but one day Amazon can be like, oh, we're not going to. The same way that Mixer, but owned by Microsoft with like bajillions of dollars, they got rid of Mixer. I'm hoping that one day Twitch is just not like, hey, I've had enough of this. Get lost.
Yeah, then we'll have to go back to playing video games in front of each other on our couches like we did in the 80s. Remember that?
And installing our own add-ons? Terrible.
Opening folders?
Yeah.
I don't believe in it.
I don't think I would have add-ons right now if I couldn't use that Twitch tool.
Yeah, I got to go back to playing video games like a caveman.
That's right.
It's funny because Twitch bought Curse. We used to always have the Curse add-on for our WoW, add-ons.
No, some of us went to the Curse website and downloaded them and extracted them and copy-pasted them. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
I did this.
Yeah.
I did this, right? And,
I did.
And at some point, Amazon, bought Twitch, which bought. I mean, it wasn't Curse anymore, but so now we have this whole thing, and getting add-ons is in our World of Warcraft game is, easier than it's ever. Gosh, easier than it's ever been. I don't know. And right now, I'm going to tell you that there's a journalist. There's a New York Times journalist texting me right now. All the things he texted me like 5 times, saying, "Hey, I can come on and talk about this," and I'm like, "No," because
Is he going to come on to the show and talk about it while dancing in the background of your camera? Because that's how I would like to see that interview happen.
Yes,
that would be the best.
Me too. But I would rather talk to Multizord if I'm being very, very honest. But so that was my thinking. What I was talking about. I'm just thinking right now. I'm just thinking about Mixer and how crazy this is in like our community and in the business. And what I'd really like to know is how Frasley's doing.
Well, I, as a Twitch streamer, got to try out a new game. So this game came out last week, and it's called West of Dead, and I got to play it. You're playing through this purgatory, Wyoming, and it's like a Wild West, and it's a roguelike, so you keep going and you keep getting better. So it was a lot of fun playing that, and I got to go back and play more. It's a twin stick shooter, so it's definitely a lot of fun. But in WoW, I am one zone away now from Lore Master. I just need how long steps.
Nice.
Sweet, man. Good for you.
And then I will be able to then work on like mount runs and stuff. I did mount runs today and no mounts drop. I got transbong, so. But you know what did drop for me though? Friendship.
Invincible.
And Barf, what have you been up to? Because you're a friend of mine. That.
I've been doing a bunch of stuff sort of behind the scenes, things that a lot of the players may not necessarily see directly as far as guild stuff is concerned. So like I had said I think I've said this in previous recordings, I've been sort of working to rewrite some of the procedures and some of the like how we do things of what the greeters are doing when they go ahead and do like your guild invites and things like that. Sort of smooth things out, sort of update things for the next game and for all that, for the next expansion, I should say. I've been basically able to get almost everybody. I've been sitting down with all the greeters individually to like review everything with them and make sure that like we're all on the same page. And I've almost finished that procedure. It's kind of tough to like match everyone's schedules.
Yeah.
But while I was doing that, I was also working on some cool new spreadsheets that like I'm really excited about, that I guarantee that none of the players, none of the guildies, maybe a couple of the officers who really, really like pie charts for some reason might take a look at. But in general, a lot of it is kind of just for me. But there is one really cool guild invite related thing that I wanted to bring up here on the show. This will be actually the first place that it's been publicly announced. I did mention it in the officers chat in the CTR Discord. But as everyone is very, very aware, in Shadowlands, many, many things are coming. All the different zones and the things and the whatnots, but also a level squish. We're going to be level 60 characters at the end of Shadowlands. Currently, in order to join the Convert to Raid Guild, you have to be a level 15 character, or, however it works out for your allied race or your hero class or whatever. But in general, level 15. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense going forward into Shadowlands after a level squish. Because that would effectively be, like, if you're considering how long it takes to level from 1 to 15, translate that into leveling time in Shadowlands. We're talking about, like, level, 28, 35, something nonsensical like that. So what we decided to do, after having some discussion about it, was nix that and just not have a level requirement to join the guild. Didn't make a whole lot of sense anymore. It didn't seem appropriate considering what was changing and how we weren't really able to predict when grouping for dungeons is going to start. It just seems sort of awkward to have a level requirement for characters that if you roll an allied race, you're already higher than that, so it doesn't matter. So some characters, it takes more work to get into the guild than other characters, and there's some stuff going on there that sort of seemed awkward. So the decision that we landed on was to just not do that anymore.
Did you just announce that there's no longer a level requirement for the guild?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the original plan was to do that at the time of the level squish, which would be the Shadowlands pre-patch. But we chatted about it, and there's not a whole lot of reason to wait to do that.
Oh my god.
So you can just not worry about what level your character is now.
So with the levels...
Frasley, go ahead.
So the level squish made you squish the level requirement.
Checks out.
Yeah, that's the math.
Starting from when?
1.
Starting from...
Date. What date? What date are we starting this?
Well, 4:43 p.m. this afternoon.
Woo!
Eastern time.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
So a few hours ago, starting from now, so you don't have to wait. You can just roll a level 1 tune and just get into the guild.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is making an awful lot more work for me, because I'm going to be the one doing the guild purges, which means that if you create a level 1 character, get them invited to the guild, and then don't do anything with them for 2 months, I'm going to have to kick them in 2 months. So it's going to be a pain in my butt.
Yeah.
Oh, darn. I was going to actually jump on with my level 1 bank alt, Multizord.
Great.
Okay, but Multizord doesn't need to be in a guild.
That's
okay, fine.
Great.
I'll stay out.
Yeah, so that's the plan. There are other cool greeter and interacting with the players things in the pipeline, but I'm waiting to announce those. I'm thinking probably it's going to be the next show, but I don't want to promise that because I want to make sure that there are still a couple of greeters who I haven't had a chance to actually directly speak with about a new system that we're going to put in place. And my experience has been, I wrote this new system, I think it makes a lot of sense, and then I actually sit down and talk with somebody about it, and there's wait a minute, this is how, I thought it worked this way, it works this other way, and I'm, okay, yeah, so let's clarify everything, make sure everybody's on the same page. So I want to make sure I got that done before I announce the next thing, but I'm hoping I can get that done before the next show. So I'd like to have another thing to talk about next time.
Oh, teasers! Oh, you tease!
It's a little less exciting than this one. This one's the more exciting thing of the two.
I feel like we talked about Mixer, and I'm like, yeah, because by the time this comes out, everyone knows about Mixer, whatever. But like what you just said is top of the show situation, which it is the top of the show. You're right. That's huge.
Top
We
of the
no
show
longer have
was
to like
20 minutes
roll a
ago.
2 and level it to 15 to like get into the guild.
Mhm.
You are giving you and your greeter staff more work to do, but all of this actually makes sense because of the changes that are happening coming up.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've heard one of those changes is that the leveling process is faster in Shadowlands. Like I don't have any math to back it up, but from what I understand, the 1 to 60 grind is just quicker anyway. So even if you'd set a limit of like 10 or something, it would have been just not that difficult to get to anyway. So I mean,
Originally, the level cap made a lot of sense because 15 was when you could start forming parties to do dungeons. And in
oh yeah, makes
addition,
sense.
it made it so that you couldn't roll 12 characters all at once, get them all invited, and then clog up the works. Like, that was the in addition to bit. But, like, the main thing was that we're a raiding guild, we're a grouping guild, we're a social community. Let's start that. But then at Allied Race, you roll those, they're level 20. You can get an Allied Race into the guild in 6 seconds. There's nothing to it. Death Knights and Demon Hunters start off at a higher level anyway. Pandas get their weird thing where they have to join the alliance first, but like that's Blizzard's deal. Like that has nothing to do with CTR. That's guild wide. But like there was just so many different rules for different classes, different races, different. It doesn't make sense to maintain all that anymore. So that's
not anymore.
what we were
first
doing.
It did, but you're
Yeah.
right, not anymore.
Yeah.
Barf, you didn't give me any, like, I didn't know this is coming.
No,
and,
no. If not the people who were in officer chat anytime between 4:30 this afternoon and now are the ones that I
So
don't
what
at
you're saying
officers.
is that I should unmute officer chat?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm thinking maybe you should.
So
maybe I should.
so for the next show, I'm gonna hear like, hey, we've also had 10 more sub guilds.
I'm going to be honest with
No.
you. I think that there's an actual hard limit on how many co-guilds we can have because of how Greenwall works.
Okay.
I think that that's true.
Because I want to name one like Gnome or Nomergon. You know, like, hey, I'm part of
Well,
Convert
they're
to Raid
named after
Nomergon.
raid bosses. So if you can find a gnomish raid boss out there, I will put it into consideration.
Hey, Mechatork, the raid boss.
That's right.
Yes.
World boss.
Oh.
They're all named after world bosses.
Well, Nomergon's in the world, and there's a thermite plug at the end that's tough at level 20 to beat. It's a secret boss.
Also, that dungeon is completely impossible because I can't get past the part we get stunned.
Oh yes. Just to
It's
see.
impossible. No one has ever done this.
That's right. No one's ever finished that dungeon before.
Yeah, no.
Literally nobody.
Certainly not our guest, who, as I understand it, spends most of his time playing Hearthstone anyway. If I'm to go by the name of his show, which he's famous for hosting. Multi, how are
How's
you
it
this
going?
evening?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well. You caught on to it. I'm a Hearthstone guy for sure. I'm on a show called Hearthcasual with Brian Black, also known as Ro from Realm Maintenance, if you know the dude. So we've been doing that show for yeah. He hangs out in these circles some. He's a horde guy like I used to be, but you know.
They have the better races.
They might. They have the better racials, at least, I think.
Yes, like Worst Jump, Untaran, amazing for crowd control.
Cannibalize? Come on, never run out of mana.
Oh,
Are you
yes.
kidding me?
Oh,
Never run out of
absolutely.
mana.
Are you kidding me? Even
Listen, all you
Delightful.
hordes just need to stop. Listen,
the Alliance is the better faction. I'm just saying.
for sure.
I have converted.
The
Legitimately, like
Horde is the better
I've
races.
started to realize that the Alliance was the underdog the entire time. Like I've been a Horde since the early days of vanilla, and now as time goes on, I get it. I wanted to play with the underdogs, and as a younger lad, I thought that maybe the ragtag band of orcs and trolls and stuff was that, but no, it's always been the humans and the whatever else is on the Alliance, because you guys just don't have I don't know, something, and that's okay. I'm on board now. I am a void elf mage in the guild, doing my thing. I've come over. I actually just recently started with you guys as of 8.3 as well, so fairly new to this group. I actually had a few of my buddies transfer over with me as well, so we've got a small contingent of Zords on. If you've ever seen us looking for like Mythic Plus people and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we haven't really gotten into raiding yet too much, just because we're all dads and we've got all these crazy schedules, and it's hard to even just get us together for a quick, half hour, 45-minute Mythic Plus as opposed to a full length raid.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I've switched over, and in fact, so the last time I was on anything CTR related was on an episode of Convert to Raid some time ago.
Nice.
With Pat Crane and Thist at the time, and I wasn't ever invited back. I think it's because at the time I was calling for the destruction of the alliance itself. Because we were in the thick of the Fourth War, and I was a Horde, so I felt very passionate about just kind of like wiping them out. But I've since, again, maybe it was 8.3, maybe it was the spirit of the fact that we had to band together and fight N'Zoth that caused me to just realize that I've been seeing things through a very narrow lens, and I need to expand this. And I've been enjoying it over here, frankly. Borealis is a much better city than the Pinkamid on the other side.
The Pinkamid. Oh,
yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's not a hard comparison. Sure. But
yeah, you don't have to fly to get around our town.
When we talk about like Convert to Raid, we do understand that Thist is hugely Horde. She's not around anymore for obvious reasons. Good for her. And our mother podcast, Convert to Raid, the podcast, we're going to be hearing a lot more from them coming soon, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is kind of who you are, where you're from, what you doing. Just get like you're one of our guildies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the Convert to Raid guild. Please tell us like your family and all your personal information and your social security number and all that.
Yeah, social security number. Okay,
your security questions.
All of my security questions. Yeah, they're all cat. Every question I have, cat.
Okay, it's clever.
What's your high school mascot? Cat.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your first car? Cat.
It's hard to forget.
No.
Easy to spell. It's perfect.
Can't mess up. Can't mess up.
As long as you're not being catty with us.
In the chat. What's your favorite color? Cat, obviously. Okay, anyway, yes, so a bit more about myself. I mean, I'm so divorced from reality that I basically, if I'm talking about WoW, I may as well be talking about my main life. So, like, I live in Kansas City, and as I look out the window, it really just looks like the Western Plague Lands out there to me, just to give you an idea, especially these days for some reason. But yeah, so I'm from Kansas City originally. I've been here for a good majority of my life. I had a tiny stint in Chicago, but spent most of my time in Kansas City here. And I've got a wife and a 2-year-old son who actually, we weren't sure he was going to be asleep for this, but he totally knocked himself out ahead of this, which is so weird because the sleep schedule's been off all of the day. So it's been good. So just kind of doing my thing. What else do I even say for myself? I work at a job virtually these days where we do virtual training things to train people how to train. It makes no sense. But we get by. It's kind of like Pokemon, but real life, if you're with me on that one.
Yeah.
Royals or Cardinals, I see in the chat. I mean, I'm from Kansas City, so I hope that's an obvious one. And yes, also to answer some other chat questions, Kansas City is in Kansas, but it's also in Missouri. And the better side is on the Missouri side. Maybe that's just me, again, falling back in my old Horde versus Alliance ways where I just get these rivalries going in my head.
So
but I honestly believe it, Missouri for life. But anyway.
I still remember going to St. Louis, Missouri, and it was late at night. We stop at this gas station, and I get out of the gas station all tired. I'm going to use the restroom. I walk into this unisex bathroom, and like the person's asking me like, "How can I help you?" I'm like, "Oh," and he was like, he backed up away from me like, "I'm not going anywhere near you."
Oh yeah. Did they offer you a slice of pizza that was pretty much just a cracker with ketchup on it? Because if so, that's a real St. Louis story.
Oh yes, I did. I got one of those. Yes.
Did you? Okay, good. Yeah, sounds good.
Well, I'll Google it.
Yeah, St. Louis just is known for their really thin crust pizza, and I just don't feel like it has a lot going. Now, Kansas City's not known for pizza at all. It's the barbecue city, if you're not familiar. I guess there are barbecue pizzas though, so maybe that's a thing. But
Delicious. I'm from
Yeah.
New Jersey, where we randomly haphazardly pile toppings on top of our pizza, and that sounds lovely. I'd love to have that.
that seems good to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
sign me up.
Well, I mean, I'm for a thinner crust if I get like a bunch of on top of it. As long as I'm like thin crust, but like it's still like a like 5 inches thick.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's just basically an entire animal on top of it.
Exactly, and
Yeah,
cheese,
okay.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to like dog on thin crust. It's just St. Louis thin crust. Again, is a saltine cracker with ketchup smeared on it.
Why does that sound like I used to take rich crackers and put ketchup on them when I was a kid?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a food. Don't get me wrong.
I mean,
You could
guys,
eat
you're
it.
talking to a lady who literally lives in New York City.
Mhm.
Don't talk to me about pizza. I just feel like none of you even know. And until you know, until you live here, until you like, yeah, I'm a total
Until you
snob
can
about
trip
pizza.
over a bodega cat on your way to the world's widest slice, then you don't know nothing.
Don't listen. Don't be sleeping on bodega cats. That's a real situation here.
I know. It was
and
the first thing I thought
we
of to
know.
describe New York was the store cat situation.
That
They make
is
for a good
that
secret
was
question answer.
one thing to describe all of New York City. It would be bodega cat. That's yes, you're right. Anyway,
That's for when the
let's
security question
continue.
requires more than 3 characters.
Cat.
So one thing that requires experience is asking you. So how did you get into podcasting with Ro? Because like Ro does the roundup, he does the other podcast, and he added another podcast to his already busy schedule. How'd you get involved with
You're
that?
one to talk.
Yeah, that is true.
So for that, so I actually started off on my a couple shows before joining with Ro. I was on the first one we did was called Lords of the Storm,
Yes.
a
I
podcast
love that
about
show.
yeah. Thank you. No, I remember you from back then for sure. So yeah, we did that first, and that like honestly to get into podcasting at the beginning, it was legitimately just the fact that like I and about 5 or 6 other friends, actually a lot of the same people that are in CTR right now, the people that I just brought over, people like Gizmozord, TBK Zord, some of these other folks. Gizmo, you guys would know, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Gizmo.
Yeah, it's Gizmo. I can't even go that high. Gosh. All right. But anyway, so yeah, so we started off honestly just because we were playing Heroes in the Tech Alpha, and one day we were just kind of sitting around. We have a group chat on Facebook, of all places. Let's all go to Facebook, right? That's the new cool thing. And so we just got together and we said, we play this game that's in kind of the early alpha, and we were getting together for some small time lands of it at the time, and playing like all kinds of weird custom stuff that was available at the time and that kind of thing. And so we just thought, why don't we just talk about this into microphones? So we literally took our headsets that we had at the time and just started talking into microphones. And then we did that for about like 4 years or so. And so the show had a good run. At the end, we did have to leave it we didn't have to leave it, but it felt like the right move at the end of like HGC. Also, there was that large layoffs at Blizzard that kind of rubbed us the wrong way for some time there. And it was more about like we wanted to make sure that if we were going to continue covering the game, we wanted to stay as passionate about it as that we had been up until that point. And so in the end, we just kind of decided to part ways with it, and that's okay. It's freed me up to do other things. I did have an Overwatch podcast for a small stint there, called The Cavalry, which was an
Yes.
individual project. Yeah. And then they're still continuing on with that. There's been some other hosts that have taken over since then. But yeah, so I think honestly, like I had been on Realm Maintenance a couple times through those other shows, and so Brian just knew me from that and from listening. I mean, honestly, I know the guy is actually listening to all of these shows that he's covering on some of his content there for sure. He's very much in it. Got the thumb on the pulse of the whole community for
He's got to
sure.
have extra ears or something, man, because he's like
I know.
carefully follows
Seriously.
How he does
5,000
it.
shows.
Does he turn it up to 2 times? I'll ask him. He's got to be one of those that listens
Guaranteed.
to like increased speed.
Absolutely.
I do too. And also on my smartphone app, it has like the remove silence and stuff like that. I have that. It told me that I saved 117 hours of listening.
Really?
I believe
Yeah.
it.
I need to do that. But see, I kind of like slowing down and hearing it as it was meant to be delivered as well.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that one. If it's like an informational show where you're like really cranking out like stats or something, I could maybe speed that up. But something like this where we're just hanging out, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so yep, Brian just pretty much asked me, he had me on. He does a yearly roundup that he posts near the end of the year where he just checks in on folks. He actually does these small recordings throughout the year for Realm Maintenance.
Yeah.
And then, so he had one for me. It was right at the launch of Ungoro as an expansion of Hearthstone. And so it had just been announced and we were hyped about it. And we were talking about how like, some of those few cards that were announced at the time, like the Dread Swamp King, whatever, dinosaur dude. I'm blanking on the name. It's in Wild now. That's a card that's rotated to Wild. And so Swamp King Dread, I think, is the one I'm thinking about. Anyway, and so, yeah, he just, honestly, I think he just got to thinking that little segment was fun. And I mean, I was starting to free up a little bit in that my other shows were coming to a close at least. There was a little bit of an overlap, but not much. And so, yeah, he just thought we'd get together and get it started. So we've been at it ever since. We do shows every other week. So, like, our episode count never gets that high, but we've been at it over a year now. So, been cool.
Us too.
Yeah.
So I totally feel that we've been around for a long time, but our episode count seems kind of low. It's like you haven't even hit 200. Like, yeah, but we've been doing this for years and years and years. But we do it every other week. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when we celebrated episode 50, we were like, this isn't a big milestone for some shows, but I mean, for us, it would be 100 if we did it every week. So just think of it that way. Double it.
And
Double it. Right.
even lasting as long as that is a huge amount of work, because I mean there are some weeks I know I have it like, you're like, I really want to do it this week.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially when it is every other week to some degree, because then you think like, oh, it's always on the off week. You're sitting there, you're like, this would be the perfect one. Something new just got announced. I'm super hyped. And then the other week happens and you're like, oh, well, that news is a week old now, but we'll make it work. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hyped about it. Don't get me wrong.
I totally feel that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, kind of on that same note then, for those who aren't as familiar with the show, what do you guys cover Hearthstone related on Hearthcasual? I mean, from the name, I gather that you only deal in the most highest level of pro strategies and deck building. Is that accurate?
Oh, of course. Yeah, actually, we just get on hsreplay.net and just read the tier list, top to bottom. All
Very
the cards that
informative.
you need to mulligan for, the exact 62% win rate if you mulligan for this card, and every breakdown you can. No, not quite. No, yeah, we do take it more casually, as the name would suggest. But, you know, I mean, we try to weave in some, you know, so our one hard line is we don't want to talk about really hardcore like tournaments and like the esports scene. We do get into talking about the latter some, just insofar as like what decks are we having fun with, and what are we doing, how do we feel about like certain archetypes and that kind of thing. So we get into that kind of stuff, but yeah, I mean it's definitely geared toward people who are appreciating the game for what it is, as opposed to just like the competitive scene or something like that. So, I mean, if I can call us the premier Tavern Brawl podcast, I think that would give you an idea of where we're at on that one. So but yeah, no, so it's been a lot of fun, again, because, and I think in part because we do that every other week thing, and in general our prep for the show is pretty casual as well. I think it comes across. So Brian and I mean, we message back and forth some in between shows, but not a lot. Like, we intentionally don't really try to gauge each other's reactions until we're on the air. I mean, of course, I'll pick up some of his thoughts on Twitter, and he'll do the same for me.
Sure.
But we do very little to commiserate between the two of us before we get on, and so that way, like when we're having the discussion, for some reason, it just seems to flow all the better, and that we're able to just kind of like bounce ideas off of each other and surprise each other in many cases too. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely geared more toward the relaxed. If you do ever hit that casual button in game and want to just try out the wackiest, goofiest deck in existence, odds are Brian at least has definitely done that deck and a few other variants of it leading up until then. So, and then I'm always the one catching up and trying them out after he announces them. So we've got kind of a good cop, bad cop thing where like he's the guy bringing the goofy stuff and I'm the guy bringing the kind of serious decks. So I need to work on that though. I need to be less serious.
Well, what are you playing right now? You're playing a lot
Right
like
now,
Mind Control, Priest, Ragnaros Rogue. Like what's the deck? What's the hot deck?
We're talking about Hearthstone.
Yeah.
So I wish, but I'm playing Demon Hunter in Wild and Standard right now.
Okay.
And I feel bad doing it because like the Demon Hunter class in World of Warcraft, it's a very low skill cap thing. And so shout out to all my Demon Hunter friends out there who are through Shade too. But they're used to having Shade thrown at them. Isn't that the point of becoming a Demon Hunter? Like you actually have to accept a demon into your soul. Like that's some real shade throwing from the Legion,
They
right?
can't even see shade. They don't have eyes.
I
right.
was looking for
They
that,
don't
and
know
I see
nothing.
what you did there.
Very good. Yeah, so no, I'm a Demon Hunter guy right now. I'm just trying to work on my wins for it. I want the golden portrait, man.
They are shiny. They are nice.
shiny.
I got a couple of golden, but like I have like I don't have the regular. I don't like playing the regular ones. Like my priest is Tyrande, and my warrior is Muradin. Like you gotta show them the cool version.
Yeah, I'm all for alternate skins in that game and in WoW. For some reason, I'm only attracted to allied races now because I kind of think of them as alternate skins, and it's doing the psychological thing to me.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
are.
I don't think I'll ever roll a regular race again.
Mechagnomes are kind of like that in a way because like they're just gnome, but get rid of like the arms and stuff like that, and they wear diapers.
And they get like screwdrivers in their fingers and stuff, don't they? Don't they have all the tools?
Exactly. Yeah, and like you can use them as like multi tools and stuff like that. So like it's
perfect.
Yep,
it's perfect.
Sign me up.
Diapers.
Yeah, if you look at the transmog for Mechagnomes is a diaper.
They're kind of funny looking because of the way the legs work.
Yeah,
is it at least a robo diaper?
Yeah, I think it's a robo diaper, and
okay,
I don't think
that's fine
because I don't know if a Mechagnome actually has bodily functions.
Depends on how deep their mechanization goes, I guess, right?
You know, and that was a choice. It was a choice that they made, and we need to respect that choice, and that's the whole point.
Yeah, the gnome that sounds like Robin told me.
The Mechagnome versus Mechatorque situation. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go for it, Fraz.
What have you learned just in doing podcasting? Like if somebody listening is like, hey, I want to podcast, I want to do something because I got inspired to podcast from Convert to Raid and the podcast help. What would you say to somebody has been like the biggest thing that you've had to learn?
I would say, you know, if someone's in that boat where they're thinking about starting out, really any project, but like certainly for the first time as well, kind of like the beginning of my story there about Lords of the Storm, just do it. Like don't think too hard about even what you're doing. And honestly, like if one of your worries is, I don't know if I have the right equipment for it, I don't know if I have the right setup, I don't know if I even can speak well enough to be interesting to other people. Like if you have any of these anxieties at all, just throw them all away, because at the end of the day, if you start a show and at the very beginning, like Lords of the Storm did, you've got 5 hosts who are all talking over each other and you're talking in your headset mics and it's crackly and it's awful. The funny thing about that is if you stick with it long enough and you have a consistent time slot that you go for, which I think is really helpful too, being consistent in terms of like when things start, not to again throw shade on this show for starting 45 minutes late, but you get the point. We were on stream on time. We're good.
Hey,
Anyway,
we were consistent about when our
yeah,
audience
yeah, yeah.
showed up.
That's
Yeah.
all that matters, honestly. It seriously is. But anyway, but my point is, oh, she just dropped.
Sal just hung up.
Hilarious, man. I have.
It's like the heck with that.
I did not mean to burn her that badly.
We're gonna hang out on this
Okay.
video for a minute.
Yeah, awkward. No, anyway. Oh, she said BRB in the chat.
Oh,
Folks.
okay.
We're good. Audio
Cool.
listeners just know that we're cool. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So my advice is just to do it because again, like if you stick with it long enough and then you're looking back at those early episodes, it's just funny. Like you can go back and say no one should ever listen to the early episodes of blank. Honestly, episodes 1 through 15, we had no idea what we were doing and it was just crazy and all over the place. But then at the same time, even at the very beginning of something like that, you will catch on with people in ways that you don't even expect. I can think of at least 2 names of people that were with us throughout the entire run of Lords of the Storm. Like seriously, maybe they had listened all the way since episode 1, but they started catching on as soon as we started having like a little bit of community, and then stuck with us the whole way. I mean, some of these folks are ones that I still interact with on Twitter rather pretty frequently as well. So I've had the chance to meet a bunch of them at BlizzCon and that sort of thing. So it's just I guess my main advice would be to just jump in, see where it takes you, and if you don't like it, like if at the end of the day you're getting those anxieties even more, and you just get a few episodes in, you're like, oh, you know what, I don't feel like I have as much as I thought I might to talk about on the topic, then there's no harm in exploring something else. I mean, if anything, you've gotten some experience about what it's like to set up a podcast from the ground up. To be able to like sign up for an RSS feed and get some of the other tech in line. And that just sets you up for better things down the road, honestly, because that's kind of where I'm at now. I mean, like I'm in Hearthcasual for sure, but I'm definitely open to other projects down the road. I'm just waiting for something to like really speak to me in a way that would keep me long term there too. So one of those things would be a WoW Go, a World of Warcraft on the mobile app that I could go around like Pokemon Go, but actually level up my character and take out mobs and gear up and raid with people in real life. That is, if we get to see people in real life again. But you know, so anyway, but yeah. So I think that's my first bit of advice is to just go for it. And my second one, I think I alluded to a little bit earlier there is just to make sure that whatever it is you're talking about, you're passionate about it. You know, as I mentioned, when we did end Lords of the Storm, in part it was because we had certain concerns within the community that had us feeling less passionate about it, and that was one of the things that led us to stop it. But like Hearthstone, I mean, I've been playing Hearthstone since the beta, and I don't as much as I used to, but there was probably a good couple of years stint where I don't know if I stopped playing the game like at least once per day. Just especially because it's on mobile, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, it's just become a second nature thing to me now. So I mean, and Hearthstone's a space as well as like the early days of Heroes and such, where you're just not going to run out of stuff to talk about, and you know that going into it. WoW is another perfect example. You guys are never going to run out of stuff to talk about because the game's just supported in that way. So, so that's something to consider too. Is that you have like a sustained passion for what you're going after, and also, yeah, in part that whatever it is you're talking about is something that I mean, you could start a podcast on anything, obviously, but I find a lot of the ones I listen to are about things that can be iterated upon and change over time, like video games in particular. So, but yeah,
Yeah, like a rewatch podcast, you can't go out week after week after week. I mean, you can, but you have to have new content coming out for you. Like,
Yeah.
I think Mike and Kara do an amazing job with This Week in Trek because there's all these new content, but they're always looking back at how it's going there, and it helps that the fandom's going there. But like, yeah, I don't want to throw shade at like a podcast that the series is over because then there's no content to go forward.
Yeah,
Been the
and no, there's a
shadiest
place
show
for
so
that.
far,
Like
man.
go ahead, sorry.
So I'm just saying this has been the shadiest episode. Everyone's throwing shade at everybody. Demon Hunter's catching shade. Star Trek's catching shade. Everybody's
I
catching
said
shade.
that they're getting new content. I
I
thought
heard what
that
you
Mike and Kara
said.
did.
This is kind of what happens when I come around, so it's cool. Like I've got an aura of shade. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I should have left it at home.
Oh.
No, not at all. In our podcast in particular, we make sure that we always have content because our
Yeah.
content is people.
Yes.
Our podcast is not about World of Warcraft. In fact, we had you on because you're in our guild, but hey, you've got this Hearthstone podcast, and that's super cool. So we didn't really talk about World of Warcraft necessarily. It's everything is like kind of roundabout. Right now,
Yeah.
it's a perfect example of that where there's not a ton. There is actually a ton to do in WoW. We had a great time last week in Battlegrounds, just having fun in Battlegrounds and not worrying about who won or lost. And
Although we did win.
And I got out of level 10 finally. The next day, I ran one battleground, and I got like this little horde pennant toy. So it's really cool.
Nice. Yeah.
that's beautiful. But I don't play that at all. But here's me on the stream going again. Let's go. So there is plenty to do. But we are very happy to have had you. You are our guildie. You are a part of Convert to Raid. You're part of our community, and our podcast is a community podcast. And honestly, if you're talking about like working with Ro or Brian, that's a really good foundation there because you're not locked into a certain thing. You can always talk to people, and people are really what drives us forward.
Well, and that's what makes a show like this work so well. I mean, you're never going to dry up on content because you're never going to dry up on people.
Never going to drive
a new perspective. Bring a new guy on. He might divulge his secret question answers to everybody and throw shade at everybody, but you've done it. You've changed things up, and so yeah, there's definitely something to be said for that.
Oh, let's say in our chat room right now we have Vatican, and he was on. I guess it's 4 weeks ago, like two shows ago, and I had no idea how much fun we were going to have with that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there we go. That's what's going on. And there's always content if you talk to people.
Yeah, that's why the one of the main shows I do, Frazzlecast, is name dropping, but like it's people, and I started out talking about WoW. I was like, the people are the ones that I want to talk with, and that's every week I get surprised being like, oh, I never knew that, and you get to know people.
Yep, I dig it.
I'm looking forward to the next time I see Ro to asking him if everyone sounds weird now that he's hearing them at normal speed.
Yes, I will say at BlizzCon there were different people that sounded like it's so weird. You hear people on the podcast and stuff like that, and you're like,
yep.
Your voice doesn't sound.
Everybody sounds funny at BlizzCon, especially if you listen at double speed. It's got to be hard. It's got to be tough. Poor guy.
And I made my voice deeper, so I think maybe I might even sound different than I do in real life. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's strange that you would do that.
Right here, you guys sound like your normal voices at 1.5. That's how that works.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad I sound like my normal voice at 1.5. I'm glad about that.
You are never allowed to do that again. I did have someone at BlizzCon one time. I was talking on my phone to someone, and I was just walking by, and someone stopped, and I know who it is. And I know who this person is, and now I interact with them regularly. And they said, "Hey, are you Sal?" What?
Yep.
Because they recognize my voice, and that was like my proudest moment.
Yeah, you're my car buddy. Can I get a photo?
Yeah, I had somebody that walked by and had me sign their Chronicles book next to like Ian and different things. And I'm like, and it blew me away.
Over here talking about how famous they are.
You're a big part of the community.
Yeah. Do you guys get that experience where, so like if you meet a content creator at BlizzCon or something and you've listened to them for years, do you get that feeling that I get where like you kind of feel like you're listening to the podcast again, even though it's just you talking with them? Because like that definitely has happened to me in so many times. And again, it's you get a little starstruck, you get all this other things. But I also get that experience of like, wow, we're just talking about like the weather, and yet this is the most entertaining thing I've ever talked about.
I was sitting
So-
next to Frosty at IHOP, and we're eating pancakes, and Frosty's talking about like his syrup, and I'm like, this sounds like the Morgan's Owl.
Yeah, exactly. And so you know it.
It's the Morgan's Howl, but at the same time, it's like, here's this guy Frosty that I know and I like, and now we're friends, and we've been in the same room, and that's just it. Like doing these kinds of shows is kind of like being in the same room with folks. And
Yeah.
gosh, I like that.
Yeah, that is
Nice.
one thing I missed this year.
It's a nice moment of connection in a time where connecting with people is awfully dangerous. So it's
Yeah.
nice. It's
But
nice.
Barf, you know what else is dangerous?
Questing in Battle for Azeroth as a fire mage.
That is true. That is true.
I-
Because
Have died so many times.
same.
What were you going to say? Because it probably wasn't that.
Well, I was going to say that there's a segment on this show that we do. It's the one that has a sounder on it.
Excuse me, buddy? Watch out for that gnome!
So, Multi, since Hearthcasual is part of Warcraft Radio,
Mhm.
and there's a community at Warcraft Radio that Atlas has really been working to foster, I want to know, what are all the podcasts that are on Warcraft Radio?
Oh gosh, you can't ask me this. So here's the problem with me. I take Hearthcasual even more casually than Brian would. I don't have a lot of spare time, so that's part of why I like haven't reached out through the guild to get even a raid team going and that kind of thing. So I haven't been as involved in Warcraft Radio as I'd like to be. I want to be for sure. And I'm sure I could think of a few, but you put me on the spot and I'm feeling dead in the water. There's like it's always sunny and Stormwind is one I could think of.
Yep.
I think technically PvP
Yep.
would be another one, but I'm struggling. So you called me out.
Well, and you missed too when you're on Hearthcasual.
Oh, Hearthcasual, right? I didn't even think to like. Okay, good call. That
Realm
shows up-
Maintenance.
Realm Maintenance, yes, I could have called that one.
What's another show of Rose?
Rolling something, rolling.
Yeah, Rolling Restart.
Restart, yeah, I
Rolling in
know.
the deep.
I'm
That's
just
correct.
joking. Yeah.
And then there's the Shadowlands Roundtable. So that'll probably change once we get to the Rise of Numbergon expansion. That'll probably be the Rise of Numbergon Roundtable that they do as we get into that alpha. You got Warcraft Brew.
Never gonna happen.
Don't quench don't quelch my dreams.
Rise
though.
of Nomagron as an expansion.
Yes.
The next expansion we're going into is literally heaven versus hell.
But,
And
but
you know,
the
we gotta be
expansion after that is going to be the Rise of Nomergon,
it'll be a short story.
Afterlife, and now you're talking about gnomes.
Yeah.
Dude, you're
We need
looking-
to.
no, dude.
So there's that
Well-
old adage of like every other expansion is amazing in WoW, which I don't necessarily believe. I've really enjoyed BFA, but maybe that's it. Maybe the gnome expansion's the off expansion.
Yeah,
and then the one after that we go to like the void or something.
Because can I step it down a little bit for not Rise of Never Gotten, and then step it up for the next one, so it works.
Or
It is
how
going to be
about
heaven versus hell, and
just
that means we're going to get Diablo Immortal.
not?
That's a tie-in package with the game. It's going to
Ooh.
be glorious.
I've got a
calling
phone
it.
that I can play Hearthstone on, and Diablo Immortal, and Warcraft Go.
I have
That
3
Warcraft Go.
Yeah, they're going to release that
Warcraft
next year. No
Go.
problem.
Yeah, that's right.
And at Warcraft Radio, you've also got Warcraft Brew, Girls Gone WoW. You think you do, but you don't. I love that title. And Heart of Azeroth.
You did a far better job plugging my network than I did. Thank you.
I've got it right on the screen over here. So
That helps. That does help. Mhm. But yeah,
Multi, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show tonight.
yeah,
Before we cut you loose so that we can switch over to the, the raid report and the guild haps and all that jazz, I wanted to know, first of all, do you have any shout outs that you're looking to give?
So shout out to, again, some of the Zords that came over with me into the guild. And so some of them are starting to slightly fall off a little bit as we get into the tail end of 8.3 and BFA in general there too. So, but I expect a lot of them are going to be totally back with like the pre-patch as well as everything else. So yep, shout out to my buddies in game. We've got my Paladin Healer, Mathematical. I've got TBK Zords in the guild as well. He goes by Zen Zord on his Monk. And then we've got there's Killzord is another guy, very very violent sounding name, and then a couple others there like Trick Zord and a couple others. We tend to stick with this Zord theme. I don't know if you've caught on to that yet.
I kept getting all of you confused. I
Yeah,
like, which sword is it?
That's the one downside. Honestly, if I had known that like the name Multizord would have stuck with me through all this, I don't know if I would have gone with it. But hey, whatever. So anyway, so shout outs to them for sure. We've been pushing some Mythic Plus. I am a fire mage as well, Barf. So I know the feels of those quests that you're on. Just get Mastery 3 and put it on everything. You're gonna be all right. Just all mastery all the time.
Oh, I'm gonna hit max level and stop playing this character until Shadowlands.
Also sounds good. Yeah,
I've
for
got
sure.
like 12 120s at this point. I'm just leveling them to have them leveled.
Yep, makes sense to me. So yep, shout outs to my buddies there. Again, like none of us have a raid team yet, but we are definitely open to one. Certainly as we start looking at Shadowlands, I feel like I've kind of taken this expansion off of raiding and focused more on like the Mythic Plus and some PvP, but next expansion, I've had a bit of a taste of the alpha, and Shadowlands is all I want to do all the time. So it's gonna be crazy. And
It is
yep.
amazing in the alpha. Like just yeah, I'm blown away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, between now and then, where can the players, the listeners, the people track you down upon the internet?
The main place upon the internet would be Twitter at Multizord, and then yep, Warcraft Radio is the home for the rest of our just general stuff there. That's where you could find Hearthcasual. That's also on Twitter at Hearthcasual, and on any of your podcast feeds and that kind of stuff. So that'd be the main place. I do, of course, lurk some Discords. Every now and then I pop up in the CTR one to ask some random stupid question about, hey, how do you,
That's what it's
where
there
do
for,
you
brother.
go for this thing? Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I do. But I'm looking to get more involved as time goes on for sure. Definitely getting into Shadowlands.
Sweet. We look forward to seeing you on the front lines of heaven, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to
No,
tell.
I'm a Necrolord.
Yeah,
You
because
know
it's
it.
like
Reverend
it seems
Dress,
like the
represent.
angels live right next door to the zombies, live right next door to the vampires. So it's hard to tell exactly what's going on in the world right now.
Listen,
but we'll
I'm
figure
going
it out.
fairies, and it's all purgatory, I suppose, or there's no heaven and hell, and we just get.
It's the mirror universe, and everyone wears a goatee.
It's the wow. Okay.
Checks out. All
I
right.
think
Well,
that's
thanks
it.
for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for coming on. You were incredibly entertaining
Sincerely,
and super
we
informative.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very great show. Why don't we kick it over now to Fraz, who I think maybe has a frazzled thought for us, perhaps?
Absolutely. So this one came from today. So Twitch is not adding. They're selling the CurseForge WoW add-on directory to Overwolf, and wago.io is a directory of like weak auras, voodoo, like a bunch of different things, and that is being bought by Method. What other Warcraft service is going to be bought by somebody in the next year?
Game Freak's going to pick up the Warcraft pet battling jams. They're going to tweak the UI. They're going to add in, it's going to play the thing, and you're going to have to collect the 8 badges and beat the Warcraft League. That's what they're going to do. That's going to be next year.
I think he's actually talking about the in-game Warcraft pets that they're going to buy that straight from Blizzard. Like the battle pets you have in the game, they're ours now. They're now a Nintendo product.
Mm-hmm.
And then WarcraftPets.com could be the Pokédex, so they could turn that into
get that fat
or the Wally Dex.
Yeah.
I like everyone's imagination, but you're talking about like who's buying whom and like what happens. And remember, the Curse was bought by Twitch. Twitch was bought by Amazon. Even just talk about these like kind of products, I can totally see things like warcraftpets.com being bought by someone new, and and I hope that the creators and it would get a lot of money, and the community would still be there because that's a community. But if you're talking about like different things, if I were to, if someone were to tell me in 2012 that Curse would be owned by Amazon, I just would not have believed them, because like Curse is not that big of a deal. I mean, it was important to me.
Yeah,
it was bought by Twitch, and then Twitch turned it into something a lot cooler. Like Curse was good, and they took that and they turned it, and Twitch turned it into something cooler, and then Twitch is such a huge big deal that Amazon bought it. And like, wow, so Curse was bought by Amazon, if you think about it, you go into it. So really, if you're talking about different community sites and like things that like really affect what people do, Warcraft Pets is a big one, and Icy Veins is a big one. And I'm not going to talk about like journalist sites and like reporting the news. Like, of course, there's Blizzard Watch and such. But Warcraft, I think that Warcraft Pets and Icy Veins are
Disney Plus.
No, now that I think about it, like Icy Veins, I have to assume Icy Veins has been creating their site with the idea that someone would buy them someday.
Yeah, because like MMO Champion, I forget who, but they just got bought out a while back because they were part of Curse, and then they sold themselves somebody else. I can't remember who bought them now, and like Wowhead's owned by Fanbyte, so they should be good for a while because like they were part of ZAM, then they got bought. Yeah.
Okay, then we've got like Bodigan saying Icy Veins getting owned by Wowhead.
That would be interesting. I think some people that go to Wowhead would definitely give them the cold shoulder, though.
Like
because of Icy Veins.
Exactly.
These sneaky minx.
No, I think they're two very, 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 very different sites, and also Wowhead doesn't have the capital for that, and I brought up Wowhead just now, just went to wowhead.com, and my computer just went zhoo, zhoo, zhoo. And
you don't have Wowhead Premium.
Apparently not. My computer just like squealed to a halt on Wowhead. No, I don't believe Wowhead's not a big company. But you're totally right. But I think that Icy Veins and Wowhead are kind of competitors, maybe.
Yeah.
But Icy Veins does deal with different games. This is a really good question, actually.
I never expected these companies because I knew Curse after they bought Minecraft Forums. I used to do Minecraft Forums a lot, and then I saw Curse bought them, and like it seemed like they were buying everything. So then when I came back to WoW, I was like, oh, that's Curse. Okay, Curse who bought Minecraft Forums, and now it's weird that Twitch bought Curse and then made the Curse client. And when they saw that they couldn't cause a Discord with everybody that was using Discord, they then sold off the stuff. And I can just see it the other side because doing these amazing sites, it costs money. There's revenue that goes into all these.
Yes. That was a very. Wait a minute. How? Sorry.
It's because of the first 4 letters in that word.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had lots of posts in our chat room tonight get auto-modded that shouldn't. So I'm really happy to have Frasley here to make sure.
Yeah, and they were all from the same person, Bodconian. How are you going to be using the Warcraft terms that are against Twitch?
I know. We only want to use Overwatch terms in chat now.
Yo, May's coming to the Nexus, and I'm into it. Overwatch talk complete.
And now is the time we hype up the raid team progression, guild haps, and we get your shoutouts in. Let's chat room, go ahead and give your shoutouts as much as you like. If I'm going to talk about raid team progression, I'll go ahead. Cat on Fire is now 8 of 12 heroic. The Rubber Chicken Coalition is 6 of 12 heroic after 3 new boss kills on Tuesday. I think it was last week. What's up? Threat Level Midnight is now 6 of 9 in BOD as we start working on farming Jaina mounts for everyone. I love Threat Level Midnight and like what they do. Facepool is 5 of 12 mythic. Troublemakers are 10 of 12 heroic. Banana Republic is 12 of 12 heroic. AOTC Banana Republic. That's amazing. AOTC also has found Grolls Gone Wild. And as of this evening, Troublemakers, they just got AOTC. That is amazing. And I believe that includes Sprout, right? Is Sprout on Troublemaker? Anyway, Sprout has 12 of 12 heroic. I don't care who he was with, but Sprout has AOTC, and that's all that matters.
Yes, way to go, Sprout. You are now sprouting your uncorrupted void wings.
Uncorrupted void wings? Wait, you get...
What?
Yeah.
I'm picturing like
what you get
angel
AOTC
wings or paladin wings. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, but oh yeah, though it is purple. Hey, maybe angel wings are purple.
Purple angel wings are purple, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just
okay.
science.
Now I got another frazzle thought.
It's just science.
What
And that's what I got, yo.
What about them chat room ones?
Yes. So Bodconian says May into the Nexus is epic. Tink says shout out to Sal for loving me even after I posted free screen pics on Twitter.
OMG. I just saw this. This happened an hour ago and I do not approve.
How dare you?
What happened?
What is a freeze screen pic?
I am going to link this in the chat room right now because I can't.
As long as
Automogs is gonna stop you.
No, it's not.
I'm.
Because
Oh!
most people can't post URLs in the chat room. I can.
Those are good.
And what Tink created, I am. You know what? I thought we were friends, dude.
Those are
I'm
all
laughing
right.
at myself. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at mine because I just love the. I'm like staring in like disbelief, like.
That's me.
and Barf's just like.
That's how
can't
that's
believe-
how I feel each day. I roll out of bed with that face on.
And Euro says shout out to Howlin for carrying me everywhere.
I'm picturing the Jesus on the beach poem. How we doing on personal shout outs?
I have a amazing shout out to my friends Pete and Andy. They did the race for good this past weekend. They went in. They were going to play 3 days of Sonic games, like for like 14, 16-hour days. Well, they went in with like a €1,000. It's EURO, not YURO euro. But no, like €1,000 would just be something else. I think 1,000 of anybody would just be something else. But yeah, they went in for 3,000 or €1,000. They went up to €3,000. And on the third day, Sega hosted them. Sega came into their chat, was talking with them, and followed them on Twitter. It was amazing. And this was for Special Effect, which is a charity in the UK that helps people with disabilities. I think helping them play games better, like work on peripherals. It's a really cool charity, and it blew me away what they did.
That's awesome.
Well, I've got one on Twitter. It's from Copper the Bolt. She says,
we know her.
Next show shout out to Chili, who is the most generous monk I know, and who is the only raider I did not list when I tried to list my whole team last show. That's right, Copperbolt was here, and she forgot someone who is very important on the Senate. She says he is our regular creator and bringer of food. I feel horrible about forgetting anyone, most especially him.
She went to the tape and double checked her work and figured out the exact. That's some dedication to the team.
Yeah.
Salad Senate. If any of you were holding a grudge, you better let that go. So that was a shout out from Copper. That's not a shout out from Sal. Sal, what do you got for us tonight?
You want a shout out from Sal? A shout out from Sal.
One
it
more.
Would be from shout out to Butt Boy, aka Skabet, for going out with me on today. Was the first day of phase 2 in New York City. We were able to sit at a table 6 feet away from everybody else and enjoy a beer or 7, legally and safely and bigly. And he's here in the chat room.
Thank you, Skabet.
That is my shout out. Thank you.
And now Barf, what's your shout out?
Mine, I don't know, man. I feel like I feel like I'm in this position where the one I want to give is like actually kind of really serious, and we've been sort of joking around for a while. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who is still consistently wearing a mask every time they go out.
Yes.
And I want to give a shout out to everybody who's been fighting the fight on the racial injustice side. You guys are all doing the work that needs to be done, and it's incredible, and keep it up, because that's how change happens. And I think that's going to wrap us up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank Navox and Geek Chic Lisa for our theme music. You can find us all over on Twitter at @converted_CTR. Sal is at @summer_Sal. Frasley is at Frasleytastic, and I am at a bonus level. Sal, when's the next one?
In 2 weeks, our next show is Monday, July 6th. We have got a weekend there. July 4th is on a Saturday, guys. Party up, party on, and then our next show is July 6th.
That ought to be a lot of fun. I look forward to it.
Me too. With our guest who is... So we will really
you can't
enjoy
say
our guest.
We have to bleep that in post.
Ah, Bowie, I'm sorry.
After
You
we're
can't
done
just
with this,
say that out loud,
you got to
Frasley.
cut that because it's going to be a
Oh.
surprise
Okay.
for Sal.
I can't believe you're going to make me edit something. That's crazy. Anyway.
For Frasley.
Bowie.
And for myself. We'll see you next time, everybody.
You can follow the show on Twitter at converted_CTR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Converted Podcast. And find us on our Twitch channel, Converted Podcast. And join us live every other Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
I got a compliment from Multi today that I was able to go, Gizmo! Because I don't think that my voice is like that high anymore, but I was like, tonight! Hey, Raiders, welcome home!
I've done it correctly, but in order to do it correctly, you have to really... It's not something you can do quietly.
No.
It's got to come from all the way down here in the power section.
And usually people, when Pat does that, he's like in a place that sound is... Anyway, my hair looks like rotten celery.
Ooh, at least it's not leaks.
Leeks have more taste than rotten celery.
Well, your state is open now, so you can go have your stuff done, right?
I saw that today. There was a barbershop that was open. This isn't crazy, but I think I'm gonna get rid of listen, I don't really have green anymore. This is just bleached hair. It's like, do I even color my hair anymore, or should I just cut out the bad and just go for the gray? I don't know. Haven't decided.
I'd
So
like to not have whatever's going on up here continue, but I won't be doing anything about it because I'm afraid.
Yeah,
I get that.
like not to pick anybody out, but my dad called the doctor today, and the doctor said that he should probably go to a testing center. So I'm like nervous about that because I don't want him to have it, and if he has it, then we all have to isolate. So because we were hearing from the doctor, make sure that if you have any inkling of a symptom, talk with your doctor, because our doctor is going through and like knows the history of my dad and stuff like that. But yeah, this is not stuff to play around with.
Yeah, that stuff's real scary.
Totally. Today I did enjoy a beer outside, several beers outside of a bar that I frequent. But we were distanced.
Yeah.
And we got there, we had masks on, and we took the masks off, once we were sat, like it was nice to be sat at a place and not like just walking through the streets.
Yeah. And you were doing it correctly. Like I've got a mask, and in fact, tomorrow have a mask coming. It's an Alliance mask that I found on Etsy, and I'm excited because I want to now have, like, I've had one mask, I want to have two, because you get tired of the same mask.
Well, they get dirty and you have to clean them.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I ordered from Vogue Mask, and Vogue Mask has always been selling masks, and like for allergies and things like that, and they have the filter on them, which does help when it comes to like fogging up your glasses.
Oh, good.
So, and I posted on Twitter like one that I've been wearing that looks like video games, like 8-bit type stuff, but this one has stars on it. It's just, but it's quite thick, but it doesn't help you like inhale, but it does like filter. There's some people who worry about carbon dioxide, which I don't, because I mean, like, there's still the sides, right?
if you can wear a mask for hours and do surgery, I'm thinking probably studies have been done about how the oxygen flow works.
Yeah, and I'm even fine. I hate to say it at the next BlizzCon. I am fine if we wear masks. I think going forward, I'm fine with masks if it can prevent spread of things. Because the other thing that I'm thinking of is even like my friends who are immunosuppressed. I think that's not going to go away with the vaccine. I think as a nice show of respect to some of our friends, I think I could see. It's a very, like, the people who hate my opinion, but I think I'm fine with masks.
I think that
immunocompromised people, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think I'd be fine with just making it or maybe just after we get the vaccine, making it a societal thing that we just allow anybody to wear masks whenever they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's a normal thing in other parts of the country, or in other parts of the world, rather. It should be cool here. But more than that, using it as like a way to dodge con crud seems like it'd be a really interesting idea. I don't know if it works that way because I have no idea how disease works, but it'd be fun to find that out. Secondly, thank you so much for the idea for Etsy and Vogue Mask, because I've been looking on the normal places where I buy things online, places like Amazon, and I don't see anything that I like. And the thing is, here's okay, gentlemen, come in for a minute. If I can have the gentlemen of the audience. Men's fashion. You have very limited opportunity to accessorize.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's hard to, if you're wearing, like, if you got like a shirt with a tie, your tie could be a little, you know, you can kind of accessorize sort of like depending on the tie you wear. Maybe if you get like a tie clip or a tie pin, you get like a wristwatch, maybe a ring. But outside of that, you're very, very limited in your options for accessorizing.
That's why I've been doing like socks and stuff.
Oh man, I don't wear regular white socks anymore. I've got just like Zelda socks and Mario socks and Hercules socks and like goofy socks. I'll wear all the different, but I don't wear no regular socks no more. But here's the thing. I'm really hoping that I can visit these websites that you've just mentioned, because it didn't even occur to me to look to Etsy, and that's where all the creative stuff happens anyway. I should totally have been there this whole time. I want to find a bunch of decorative, like, accessorizing kind of masks so that I can match them to my outfit. I can make sure that my tie and my sock and my match all go together. It's important. You got to listen. This has to happen on purpose. You can't do this by accident. You have to be deliberate in how you do it. So I'm gonna go shop. I'm gonna go mask shopping when we're done here. I'm gonna find me like maybe a nice. I'm gonna get like a nice like a nice Zelda mask, nice Mario mask, nice Metroid mask. Get a bunch of different ones. I just got a Mario tie that I'm super excited about. I wore that to work on Sunday. Or Saturday. That was really fun. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. That's part of who I want to be, is the guy with the fun mask. That's
the mask I want is sold out.
See, Tink is saying that they're expensive. When you don't leave your house for a few weeks and have nothing to spend your money on, I got bills and masks, and that's the only thing I'm spending money on right now.
And fashion there's no price to fashion.
Well, I mean,
I want to get one that says like Supreme. I
haven't gone suit shopping in like 2 years. I gotta get some new suits, man. I've been wearing the same couple of suits to work. It's awful. I gotta get some new suits. I need like a nice navy suit. Maybe like if I really want to get fancy, show off, strut my stuff, I gotta get like a burgundy suit. That'd be tight. I'd like to have like a gross looking plaid suit so that I can, if I'm invited to the wedding of somebody who I don't like, that'd be you gotta have it in the closet at least. It has to be there. You can't like just, I don't know, man. I got a lot to do, but like the suit store's closed because it's a pandemic and everyone's dying, so it's hard.
I'm currently looking for a mask right now on Vlog Mask. I'm like, I want to buy another mask, but they're all sold out.
Dude, honey, Tink, $35 for a pack of 50. I spent way more than that. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, he has to keep buying them though, because he's got like he goes through them a lot, right?
Okay, someone like Tink, he works with elderly folks.
Yeah, what he was saying in chat is that he has to chuck them on the regular.
You absolutely have to chuck them. You absolutely do. Absolutely you do. 100%. I'm just talking about the mask that I wear when I just like go to the grocery store, like these disposable masks. I mean, I chuck those too. I don't know. But if I'm going to go meet a friend at an outside bar, maybe I've got my like star mask on, but and these are meant to be washable as well. But
my mother made me one because she's good at that sewing machine thing. It's washable. It's got a pocket in it. I stuff a filter in there. It's nice.
And there's like filters I could put into this thing. I don't know. It's better than nothing, man.
Yeah.
Well, they say that even wearing the simple ones are really helping reduce the spread, which is the whole point. So if you're gonna do that, may as well be,
may as well be fashionable.
You can't just not match your shoes to your purse. Come on, I'm not an idiot. I wasn't born yesterday.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, Tank, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about, but like, that's still like reducing expulsion is still reducing this. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Which infuriates me when we require masks to be worn to enter a business, for example, and you don't wear your mask right. And I'm standing there like, listen, man, if I got to wear this for 8 hours, you can definitely wear it for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You
I'm not wearing
monster!
the mask for me. I'm wearing the mask for you.
Yeah, all they got to do is wear it right. I don't understand. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It totally matters, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm going to export audio. Is it pronounced export or export? It's export.
I think it's export.
Why is it not doing it?
As long as I see it in the file, it'll.
It says
I don't care
Audacity
how
is
you
not
say it.
respond. Here it is. What's today?
My hair is so
22nd.
gross. Just because of the multiple colors. I don't mind the gray. I mind the yellow green
You're a
diarrhea.
beautiful rainbow.
I wish it were a rainbow.
It is. Well, it's currently 11:12 p.m.
Oh, yikes. Holy
Local
carp.
Oh my god. I have to go. Guys, I haven't eaten dinner yet.
You should do that, and then you should drink about a pint of water and take 2 headache pills.
Advil, and then go to bed.
Yeah,
You'll wake
I'm
up
gonna head to bed.
tomorrow feeling like a million ducks.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank all of you here and on Twitch for an awesome job. Thank you, thank you, Multi, for a great job. Thank you, Barf and Sal, for letting me be here every week because I have a lot of fun. I always look forward to these.
It's fun.
I had a nice
It's
time.
a lot of fun. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Night.